welcome to the welcome.
It's the 26th, 27th, 26th?
26, and with special guest
Jonathan.
Shan.
Hi, it's me, Jonathan Rowe.
Yeah. You don't have to
Yeah.
say your last name. I mean, it's whatever.
Garrett,
But
you know
Sean,
how I
welcome.
am. You know how I am.
Our
You
good
know how I
friend.
am.
Our good friend Sean.
He did the music, the intro song, not the outro,
Yeah.
but the intro.
I did do the intro, and then I think you asked me to do an outro, and then I said okay, and then I never did it.
That's
I
okay.
just
We
got
found one on the
music.
internet, so it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all worked out.
So Sean, we ask all our guests this.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
Quite a
How did you get your start?
No, we don't. We don't ask that.
Yes, we do.
We did not
we
ask
asked
Simon.
Simon and Sebastian.
Did we ask them that?
I think so.
Thanks, Garrett.
I have a hard time
for
believing
telling
that.
me the truth, because it's a terrible question that really has no real answer. But
And no real meaning.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally just like I'll take it as whatever I perceive it to be. Well, I was born in a hospital in Pomona in 2001, May 21st. My father wasn't there because him and my sister wanted to get a donut for my birth, and I think that tonally, that has set a precedent for the rest of my entire life. So there's
Damn.
an answer that is, I think, slightly real, and a bit too much, to be frank.
Wow.
No one
Yeah,
has
I
answered
didn't
like
expect you
that.
to have a proper answer.
other-
Wow.
The other two just turned it into a bit, so
Yeah.
thanks for
Garrett,
the real
thank you.
answer,
The,
actually.
the trick is that I'm always playing a bit, but the bit is the reality, and I just let reality do the writing. I just read the script.
Much like the Joker.
So, you guys watch Wonder Woman 84 or what?
No, not at all.
I did.
I'm
No,
not
Sean-
actually
Sean-
really into superhero movies.
Oh, so you're not. Well, then, I
I'm
I
guess.
don't want to waste your time
I'm
talking
sorry.
about
No,
it.
we can
Welcome-
talk about it.
Welcome to the podcast where we talk about the stuff someone's watching.
Someone walked into Garrett's room. Oh no. usually I don't have someone else to be talking to, so I have to cut this part out. But Sean,
Yeah.
tell us, what do you do?
Me. What do? I do many things actually. If I was,
God, you're the worst. What are you studying in school? That's what I meant.
why'd you have to cut me off? I was gonna go on a thing. I was gonna go on a
Okay,
whole,
go
a
ahead.
whole thing. No, I'll talk about what I do in school. I'm actually doing music right now. I know you know that, but I think actually most people who knew me in high school, I didn't actually make the decision to go into music until like right before college apps were due. I was actually planning on
Right.
going into psychology, and I wanted to be a therapist because I wanted to help
Yeah, I remember that.
people. I was trying to ask myself the big questions in high school. Obviously, since then, I think all of the big questions have become so large that they have crushed me in their unbearing and unknowing weight. But the answer I came up with to one of the largest questions was, what do you want? What do I want in life? And the answer was pretty simple. It was to make people happy and to meet as many people and to touch as many people, metaphorically, not in the weird way.
This is so far the most serious podcast we've had.
I know.
I'm so sorry if that.
I was
is
about
not
No,
to
it's
make it-
fine. It's a very welcome change of pace.
I was about to make a joke about how my dog opened the door and walked in.
What do you want to do with your life,
You're
Sean?
like, oh.
Dude, my dog? Dude, my dog?
Oh shit, my dog walked in.
Yeah.
Like you quickly muted. Well, that's lovely to hear, Sean, that you
Yeah.
know your purpose.
That is lovely.
Or-
Well, it's a goal. You know, things might change, but that is kind of where I'm stuck at, is like, you know, things come and go in life, but it's like, I feel like being goal-oriented is so hard. As I think, Eamon, you can speak to this too. Garrett, I'm not saying
Yes.
that you don't have goals. I think I would like
I
to,
can absolutely speak to.
but like, being goal oriented is really good because it orients you, obviously, in a way that's like, you know what you want to do next, but also you get tunnel vision so hard sometimes that like, I think you forget what you even wanted in the first place.
I think I have
Exactly.
whatever the opposite of tunnel vision is.
You are
I
the
don't-
tunnel.
I don't know. I don't know what I want.
There's
So
no
right
vision.
now,
It's just in a tunnel blind.
yeah, right now my goal is to build a new PC.
That's
That's
a
my
goal.
goal.
That's dope.
His ultimate life goal.
That's the goal right now. It's not really, a educational goal or anything like that, but that's the goal.
That's fine.
No, it
Yeah.
is fine. It is fine. I
Once
know
you
it's
build it, your life is complete, and you'll just fall over and die.
I know it's fine, but it's like, a lot of people our age, it's very emphasized onto us at a very young age about education and all that stuff. And,
Yeah.
I very quickly found out that I'm unsure.
Well, I think our
Of
generation
many things.
defined by expectations, whether that be the lack thereof, the inability to meet them, or the impending doom of one. Expectations are like what you set your perspective around. Like, what do you get stressed about? It's usually due to some form of expectation, or like, what do you like? It's probably because you're expecting something, or you're avoiding something else that you're expecting. It's like super awful.
Yeah.
I get stressed when I'm playing tennis with my friend and I win the set and he wants to extend the set. Okay.
I didn't know we were
Nice,
pivoting to
nice
that.
inside joke. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the segue to bringing up. So earlier today, Sean and I were playing tennis, and usually we just rally. But today, since Sean is actually leaving to back to college tomorrow, I was like, let's get competitive. Let's play proper games. Let's play a set. And he's like, okay.
Which,
So
by
I
the
won
way,
the
let
first
the
two
record show,
games.
I did not want to do because I was tired. I'm going to Wisconsin tomorrow. Also, when I engage in competition, I engage.
It's over.
To,
It's
to
over for
die. You know
So
what
I
I
won
mean?
the first two sets, and Sean was so pissed off. He took his shirt off and then
no,
destroyed me
no,
5
no.
games in a row.
That's awesome.
So
awesome.
it was it was the ultimate send off.
It's the ultimate flex too. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I had
Did you
to
have?
do it.
Did you find no other way to respond but to take your shirt off as well?
He actually
I did,
at
but
one
then-
point, and then he said it was incredibly uncomfortable, and he put his shirt back on within a matter of
Because-
seconds.
Sean was using his shirt to hold his hair back. So I tried doing the same thing, but my hair is too long, so it kept getting bunched up in the shirt, and it was just pulling on my hair. So I was like, okay, no, and I had to put my shirt
So
back
Sean,
on
do you
normally.
have quarantine hair right now?
I guess to an extent, yeah. I feel like when people say quarantine hair, it's like, is your hair like a disheveled, fucking mangled mess? But it's not like.
I
bad.
bet more
It's just kinda
more so in
long
like
right now.
length.
I don't know. Eamon saw it most recently. It's like
Yeah, it
definitely
is longer than you
anything
normally
I've
have.
ever had.
Yeah.
But
You know,
I-
Very anime hair.
the
yeah, I would
start-
say less hobo, more like anime boy, which is terrible but kind of accurate.
It works. It works.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
start of quarantine, my hair was it was on the shorter side because I had gotten a haircut like before it started, I think.
Yeah.
And then I bleached it, and that was fun.
Mhm.
And then it got really long, but not really,
And then you
not
grew
like
out a
really long.
mullet.
It got really long in the sense of the way my hair grows, which is just like it just gets big. It doesn't really get long in terms of length.
It just becomes larger.
Yeah. And then I got another haircut. Well, my mom gave me a haircut, and then I got a barber haircut, and now I have my natural hair color with the frosted tips.
Not the I hate just the word frosted tips, like the phrase. I don't mind frosted tips so much in reality, but the fact that they are called frosted tips makes me upset.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
think I've been rocking it, to be honest.
I'm sure you
Yeah,
have.
you've been
Gary.
looking
I
pretty
think
good.
they work for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna
They-
go back to just bleach soon, but yeah.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. And then I'm gonna.
Are you
and then I'm
gonna
dye
do
it.
any colors?
Yeah.
Oh, what color?
I was gonna do silver. That's what I was originally.
Oh.
I was originally going to do silver, but the hair dye we got didn't work. So.
I feel
I've
like
been wanting to do silver for so long.
can
but I
we
know
can we
I'd look
talk
like
about
a
hair
weirdo.
dyeing as a subject? I feel like so many people have been dyeing their hair recently, and not just because quarantine, but I feel like it's been like the fad, recently. And I don't.
Yeah, I think more people just don't look at it as something weird to do anymore.
Yeah, I think the stigma is definitely just like whatever.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was little, I was like, if I bleach my hair, it looks stupid. And then when I did it, I was like, this looks
like,
fine.
"I'm
and in
sick."
fact, I like it.
Yeah.
It really depends on the person. Like, I couldn't bleach my hair, but that's just because I have long hair.
I think you could
and
bleach
my-
your beard.
That would be funny.
yeah.
But I
That's my dream to make my beard silver and like my hair really dark black for whatever reason.
I could see you with like your sophomore year haircut bleached.
Oh God, Garrett,
Yeah,
don't
see, if I had
encourage it.
shorter hair, yeah, but this long hair doesn't work with
definitely-
any sort of color.
Definitely not. No offense.
I think you could make.
Maybe if I did like highlights.
I think if you shaved your beard and then dyed your hair silver, I think you would make a very beautiful woman. I think that.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I would give you
That's
a
what I'm
smoochy
going
kiss.
for.
Would you date me?
Yes.
If I was a nice Japanese girl, which I understand would have bumped me up a
Sean,
few.
you being a nice Asian man already makes me enough to want to date.
I don't know if I
Sorry
like where
for
this
the-
bit is
I'm,
going.
I'm sorry.
Sorry for
Garrett.
the random gay bit in the middle there.
There's nothing wrong
no,
with that.
As with
What-
every single podcast. Oh, were you about to ask a question?
No, go ahead, Garrett.
Okay. As with every podcast that we record, we usually talk about movies and television, but
All right.
less so in terms of movies because nothing comes out right now.
Yeah,
aside
correct.
from Wonder Woman 84. What have you been watching on television recently?
Me?
If anything.
I actually don't really play television that much. I kind of just play video games. I've been playing Smash a lot because that's like, that was my thing.
Yeah. We
I
know
watched-
that
But you
that's your
did
game,
recently
I
just
did
watch a
watch-
show for the first
Oh
time.
yeah, me and Aim were talking about this. I actually during quarantine I took it upon myself to watch all of The Office, which I had never seen any of The Office. But everyone, I feel like it's iconic. It's an iconic piece of media. So
Yeah, everybody talks about it.
yeah, I watched it.
Did you enjoy it?
It affected me actually in like very genuine ways in a couple instances.
It's
The
good.
writing in the earlier seasons, specifically, I think maybe 2 through 4, somewhere around there.
It's like
Was
peak comedy writing.
Yeah,
honestly.
it was peak comedy, but what was so effective about it was not only was it peak comedy, but it was comedy in almost like a humanitarian sense, whereas like you sympathized with people, and it was funny because not only because the writing was good, which it was incredible, but it was also because like the characters were so well written that like there was like genuine emotions backing half of the shit that was happening. Like Michael was like such a tragedian fucking hero. Like you hated him, but you loved him, and you hated to love him, and he was just an idiot.
Yeah.
But you understood that he was an idiot. He wasn't like, I feel like the later seasons, Michael like was actually just dumb. Like in scenarios where like there's no genuine reason why he was dumb. He was just being stupid for the sake of the plot.
Yeah.
Right, but initially it was like the situations that
He
that
just wanted to be
posed.
liked, right? Which is
Yeah.
like, and it was totally reasonable things for someone who is a little extra and just wants to be liked to do.
Like the basketball episode.
Yeah.
Or,
Another
the
famous
first
thing about that
Dundees was
show
my favorite.
is that like the first season, he's like just like an asshole in the style of the British Office, where the David Brent, the manager of the British Office, is just like a complete dick with no like nothing like
Filter.
No, because Michael doesn't have a filter, but there's nothing likable about him. But,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh right.
Going
I
from
think-
first to second season of the U.S.
Incredible.
Office,
You were like, oh my god, he's a
you
person.
realize, yeah, Michael's like a likable person. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, he just has some character flaws.
yeah, and like the great thing about that show in particular, and a lot of comedy shows in that sort of vein, is that it's not like a single camera or multi-camera sitcom with a laugh track where there's like
Right.
Hardly any
It's a
char-
documentary style.
hardly no that's not what I'm
Everyone's
talking
a caricature, right? Everyone's a
Har-
stereotype.
yeah, hardly any character development, but and shows
Oh, I see.
and shows like this, Parks and Rec, The Good Place, you get that character development because they're not playing to stereotypes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a well-written show. It did run on for a little too long, but
As with
Yeah,
anything, usually.
Yeah, most shows of that like type definitely overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
Jim and Pam specifically was I know everyone says this. Everyone's always like, "Oh my god, Jim and Pam, blah 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 blah." But let me give you some context for my viewing experience. I broke up actually with my girlfriend of I guess I don't know, it's hard to explain, like over maybe 2.5 years, midway through watching The Office. And then when I watched, I don't remember what finale Jim tells Pam he loves her for the first time before leaving to like the other branch or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I remember I was just alone in my room at like midnight and I watched it and then I just like sat there, and I was like, there was no other word except like I was affected. You know, it was like you just like, oh my god, you just have to sit there
Right.
and
Yeah.
really think about.
You really
things.
felt it.
Yeah, and it was just really like, it's extremely powerful, in the sense that I think it romanticizes love in like a way that I think is appropriate, which I think so many shows like take it too far, whereas it's very real. Like things happen that are terrible, and people get over it, and like it just is what it is. And like at the end of the day, like if two people care about each other, they can get through almost anything. It's kind of funny, but it's genuinely pretty nice. And there's a lot of scenes about letting go, which I thought was really interesting. About moving
The
on.
show does get really real occasionally.
It's very it got really reflective.
Well, it's like
points.
it's character driven, which is why it gets so real. Like,
Which is good.
Yeah.
because they
in like the best ways.
I mean, in later seasons they start to become more caricature-y, but like early on they're like real people. You know, they're very, like and it was intentional. 'Cause they're supposed to be relatable and whatnot. That's cool. I mean, did
Gotta
you do it
love
right
good
before it got taken off Netflix? Like, did you make it a thing because of that?
No, I actually had no idea what was happening. I don't really watch Netflix or keep up to date with like the state of affairs. But I just it just was good timing. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna watch The Office, and then someone was like, it's not gonna be on there. And I was like, oh, never mind. Well, good thing I did that.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that, and you're like, well, it's a good thing I'm about to finish it. So
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to enjoy that.
You know what? I guess for the past 2 podcasts, I've been wanting to bring this up, but I keep forgetting to. New music comes out every once in a while, and recently Kid Cudi dropped a new album. I know you two don't really listen, but whoever's interested, whoever cares about my music taste,
I'm interested, but it's not like for
That's
me.
cool.
It's not.
I can say nothing to the topic. I'm actually.
But Garrett, I know you like this kind of music. Garrett,
No,
so
what I was saying was like I don't seek out new albums. I get them like a year late.
Right. Yeah, I see.
So.
But I really like it. It's one of his first like good albums in a while because the last 2 were kind of duds.
Well,
more like the last.
Doesn't he release very infrequently too?
Yeah. It's so this album's been pretty good. I don't know. I just thought I'd mention that. I recommend if you're gonna listen to it, listen to Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 1, 2, and 3, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. We don't do that.
I'm going to
We've never
type
done that.
it's bad in the comments. That's gonna be my ploy.
Thank you. Make a bunch of spam accounts and ruin my day.
Sean, when you go to back to Wisconsin, you need to just bother people about this.
About what? The podcast.
The podcast. Just bother them about it.
Yeah.
We're not really actively trying to spread the word because what does that even mean right now? But it'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll throw it around. I'll hit
when you
people,
bump into people,
think,
random people.
No, don't do it that way. But be like,
I'll definitely tell them. At least I think it's far easier to be like, hey, I was on a podcast. You know what I mean? Instead of being a blatant plug to my friend who they have no idea who that is. Because then
don't outright plug us, but that's.
But if they're like, oh, you were on a podcast, sure, and I'll be like, yes, I was. Thank you.
What if you told somebody like, oh yeah, I was on my friend's podcast, the Empty Heads podcast, and they were like, what? Oh my god, and they're huge fans somehow. I could check the statistics. There's probably somebody in Wisconsin that listens.
What is wrong with you? You delusional? You think
that's a hard maybe.
My random classical musician friends who live in Wisconsin. It's just such a removed
That'd
world
be so
from you.
funny. It'd be so funny that
so
if
funny.
some random guy was just listening to our
He's
podcast.
like, dude, Eamon? I love Eamon. Wasn't he? He was the big boy at Claremont High School, wasn't he? And I'll be like, yes, that he was.
Yeah, I was the head boy.
Yeah.
No, we don't have listeners in Wisconsin. California, Texas, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Nebraska, Tennessee, and Colorado, though.
Really? In all those states?
So shout out to you guys.
That's cool.
And in Spain and in Germany.
Does it tell us how many total listeners?
Yeah, it says, it gives an estimated audience, but it depends on each episode. So right now it's an estimated audience of 5, but I've seen it higher.
That's epic.
So give or take. I think some people just listen to an episode and they're like, this is garbage, and then they leave.
That's probably what it is.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. I would have it no other way.
Well, I
Yeah,
hope
that's the only way I
through
want
my
it.
skill, grace, and integrity
Oh,
that I
God.
keep that I attain the audience's attention and I entertain and titillate their minds. That's my goal. I'm a titillator.
You want to titillate? That's
Good. I'm not sure that's something you want to say, though.
yeah.
I'm not sure that's something. Redact on my earlier statement.
Yeah, we'll redact it. We'll censor it. No, I think that's a fine word.
I
to
think
say.
that'd be so funny if you censored it. It just sounds so much worse.
Yeah, I would like to beep all
I would
the
like to
listeners.
beep your mind. What?
That would be funny.
Yeah, Garrett, you mentioned we haven't been spreading the word. So the last episode went out on Wednesday, a few days ago, and I mean, big national event happened on Wednesday. So it would have been really weird if I was in the middle of that upload, like tweeting, like, "Hey, listen to my podcast."
I didn't mean.
Yeah, Twitter would have
You'd have to
No, I know, but do we want to get political?
No.
Do we like that? No? John?
Garrett said,
You say
no,
you
no.
always.
We hate to get political.
Listen,
Well, no,
I
you
have,
don't hate it. You love it.
I have intense opinions about most things as a passionate person, and I think this is a statement that is just fact. I think people with strong opinions, regardless of whether or not they are correct or not, are just far more interesting people. However, politics is contentious, and I don't want to be shit on by anyone. So I kind of am with Garrett on this. However,
You're gonna get called a massive liberal in the
that's
comments.
because I am a massive true layman.
True.
That's because I am.
Why would you admit to
Hey,
that?
he's a
Sean?
music major. What do you think they would assume?
Oh, fair enough.
He's a man of the arts.
I'm
you
not
know,
like
he usually is.
ashamed of who I am. I think that, I think talking about something
Yeah.
is just asking for inflammatory activity. It's just,
Yeah, it is.
You know?
It is.
Let's just say it would have been inappropriate for me to tweet.
No,
about
I
my
think it's
podcast
important to mention.
during
I
that.
think
I think it's more important, to be honest, if I'm being really real here.
Oh, the podcast?
Oh, yeah, of course. So my brother just sent me this website called nowinstock.net.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a tracker for parts. And the
remember
last
using
time
that.
an Nvidia RTX 3080 Founders Edition was in stock at Best Buy, it says was November 10th at 10:51.
That's the same month it dropped. They haven't restocked since then?
No.
That is ridiculous.
The last time it was stocked on the Nvidia store was October 1st.
Oh, Garrett, I hate to bring this up, and I hate to crush your dreams, but it's most likely that graphics card prices are going to go up by like 25% because of tariffs, new
oh
tariffs.
darn, not
Yeah.
the graphics
Yeah, I already heard it.
cards.
I already heard about this, but I don't care.
Oh,
I don't care.
man on campus.
No, it's not that. Like I'm gonna get it anyways. Like
Yeah, I mean, you're saving up for it. It doesn't, you know,
Yeah.
it's...
an uptick in
But,
price, whatever. I've committed to this. I want to build it, so
Yeah.
you know.
So, Sean,
What's up?
tell us about life in Wisconsin, because Garrett and I have only really lived in Southern California.
Well, I think the first thing to preface is that people are incredibly kind, actually. That doesn't mean that they're smarter.
all
That does not
assholes.
mean that they're smarter or less racist.
I would
Those are
I would
not-
assume that.
I would like to put that out there. I'm complimenting them, but the compliment is hollow. It was, no,
Very good,
that's
yes.
a joke. I think people in Wisconsin are so kind, and everyone really wants to help each other. Like genuinely, like I remember, like people, like I would just be a college student. I'd be walking around, and like people would all the time ask me if I needed help or like on several things. Like if I was walking to like my work, they'd be like, "Oh, you need a coat or." You need a car ride? I'd be like, no, I don't. Thank you very much. But it was.
Oh, yeah, they all have the accent.
Yeah, they say
Yeah, they
bag
got
like
the ag.
big.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it's weird. But it's just weird. I think like when you move to somewhere else like Wisconsin and you've been living in California your whole life, it gives you like this weird realization that everyone in California is just on cocaine. It is like we are like life is paced to a quickness that is unnatural. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like
Right,
everyone
yeah,
is like,
everything
da,
is
da,
constantly
da, da, da.
moving, changing, go.
It's weird. It's super weird, and like there's goods and bads to that, right? Part of it
Weather.
makes me feel alive. I do like the sunlight. Snow is terrible. I have some terrible snow stories because I was just unprepared. For the first couple months of winter, I did not have a coat or a snow jacket because I'm an idiot and I pack incredibly light. So I just showed up in my California fucking sweatpants and like denim jacket, and I just like weathered the weather. And I died a lot. It was awful. I remember the worst experience I had was I had to walk to my job, which is a Chinese restaurant called Dong Po. Worst name in the fucking world, by the way. Dong Po is like, yeah, it's disgusting. But I was walking, and then it's I get off at like 10:30, and it's fucking freezing. And I wash my hands, and I don't completely dry them off, and I shit you not, the water on my hands start to freeze as fucking soon as I get outside. And I'm like, oh no,
Oh, God.
I'm dying. And then I remember I was walking home, and of course the story is me being a huge bitch. That's obvious. But I was being a huge bitch for a reason, and that's because the weather is terrible. And at one point, I remember I gave up walking, and I like went up against like a wall, and I just was like, I'm gonna die here. And I was
You
like,
thought you were gonna freeze.
I
to
really
death?
did. And I kind of resigned myself to that. Like part of like, I was just like, over.
You accepted it for a minute,
and I'm okay with that. And then people would walk by me and look at me, and like we made eye contact, and I just shook my head. I was like, leave me.
Did you regret choosing Wisconsin
Oh.
or
Garrett.
a school in Wisconsin? Or
I
just sort of chilling
do
with
not regret the school. However, there are a lot of consequences that came with going to Lawrence that I don't regret, because I think a good way to live life is not to regret anything, because I don't know if anything would have been worse or better, and there's no reason to think about that. But part of me does still have a lot of deep hurt for the people that I hurt by leaving, because I know I did, and it sucks.
like me.
No, not you.
Damn, we're going deep.
What?
We're going
Look,
deep here. I'm not sure I can handle this.
Yeah.
As soon as we go deep, I pass out.
I think
Yeah,
I
it's
think I
too
hurt
much for
my
Garrett.
girlfriend at the time in a way that I cannot fix it. I don't know. At this point, it's bygone, right? Like, there's no reason to think about it. But in reflection, I don't regret it. But it is a
Right,
melancholy
yes.
thought, and it was a decision that I think I needed, but that I'm sad at what I've lost in the process. But I have gained an amazing school and an education in which I don't think was possible anywhere else. I think it was good. It was what I needed.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I gotta ask, because this is sort of a thing I've seen on Reddit.
Yeah.
Is the food good? Because I've heard like, when you go Midwest, I'm talking about the place you work specifically.
Dong Post specifically.
Yeah, like when you go to the Midwest, places like that, just like
Ethnic
they're
places.
they're shitty here, like depending on where you are, but they're
Mm-hmm.
even shittier in the Midwest. what I've
Yeah, you would be right in most of your assessments. For the most part, ethnic food is just worse. That's not always the case, but they have to be like. I just think the standards are not as high. So, and listen, as a Chinese person, we're cheap, and we like to. As a business model, we are lazy. So whatever we can get away with, we will find a way to get away with it. And if the standards are low in Wisconsin, where I work at a place called Dong Po, and one time I clicked orange beef instead of orange chicken, and the person just didn't notice. Like, those are the standards we're working with. And the
okay.
orange, by the way, is just like citrus and sugar. Like, it is the most blatant, not good like sauce ever. I hope Jenny, my boss, is not fucking listening. But it's bad. But that's not all the places.
Gotta
But
love
the good places are definitely fewer and far between. Also, I don't mean to hate on Wisconsin, but the cheese is not that good. It's good, but it's just
The cheese?
that's what they're known for.
Damn.
It's fine.
Are they?
It's-
Really calling out the Wisconsin cheese, man. I mean, the
I'm sorry.
Packers
I
fans
know
are called
I'm gonna get
cheeseheads,
some.
man.
I know I said I was trying to avoid
I didn't know that.
inflammatory activity and conversation in this by avoiding politics, but I think I might have incited something far worse by saying Wisconsin cheese.
Yeah.
Is just
We're
fine.
gonna have. Oh my god. Wait. Okay. So what is like regional Wisconsin food other than cheese? Like, what do they eat there?
cheese curds. I don't know. I
Is
think
poutine a thing?
Yeah,
poutine.
bet
I don't.
poutine's a
I
thing.
have not. Not. I don't know if that is a thing, but I don't think it is. Maybe it is, but I haven't had it. I think that's maybe the closer you get to Canada. I think maybe the more northern Wisconsin area.
Right.
There's the regional staple, the Wisconsin Butter Burger, which is, if you did not know, a regional burger in which the main condiment is just butter. Which is indicative of America as a whole. I think the Butter Burger encapsulates both what is great and what is horribly wrong.
So
I bet
So
it-
what
this
is
great
is it
nation.
just bun, burger, butter, bun?
Fuck, what did I think the one I had was, yeah, I literally think I think it's just a cheeseburger with butter.
Ugh.
I bet it tastes good though.
It's
Yeah, I bet it
weird.
tastes
It's like
good.
it's not the worst. Because it's butter and a burger. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
gonna taste bad. But oh my god, I think I needed a triple bypass afterwards. It's just I had
Right,
one.
you
and-
feel bad.
and I wanted to like die. It's
See
good,
what
but
this
it
looks
is
like.
it is rich. But it's not for the rich.
Have you been up to like the northern border of Wisconsin where you could see Canada?
No. The most north I ever went was actually my school has a retreat at Lake Michigan on a near northern-ish border of the lake. It's a huge lake. When you get there, it literally looks like the ocean.
Right. Yeah. Isn't it the biggest lake in the world?
I have no idea, but it's gigantic. Like I literally could not see the other end. Like it just stretched out. It was insanity. It was beautiful though. But there's a
That's
retreat.
awesome.
It's called
It's
Bjorklanden.
the second
And
largest.
it's like a cabin. And that was the
Cool.
most north I
Wow.
went, but I didn't see anyone else because it was like a retreat for my choir and stuff.
You pull up to
Right.
Milwaukee.
I actually have not. I have gotten invited several times because my friends were like, "Let's go to Milwaukee," and then I went home.
I'm sure.
Is
it's
that
pretty
like
cool
the
over
equivalent of
there.
us going to like downtown LA?
Yeah, I think it would be.
I guess
right?
it
It's
is, yeah.
it's the biggest city in Wisconsin. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably pretty cool.
I've only been to Green Bay and Appleton. And
Oh, how's Green Bay?
Did you look at Lambeau Field? Did you look at the home?
I
of the
did.
Packers?
We drove by it. I didn't go to it. Green Bay, it's fine. I don't know. I feel like I really can't judge Green Bay. It just looks. It's a quaint town. It's much more quaint than I anticipated. Like it's just, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it literally just looks like suburbia and then a just giant stadium. It's really funny. It's like
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard like it's pretty much grown because of the team, but like it's still pretty small.
Yeah, it's still a
Like,
pretty
as a
rural
city?
town. Yeah.
I've never like really thought about Midwestern cities, except for like Detroit, I guess. But like, you know, usually you think of big American cities. I think of like Los Angeles, New York,
San Francisco,
Jersey City, San Francisco, Miami.
Seattle.
Boston, DC. So it's I always forget that there's a whole
There's
country in
just
between
so
the
much
two
more
coasts.
space in Wisconsin. Like in between cities, there's farmland. There's so much open space. Where it's in California, like the border is indistinguishable from some cities. It's just suburbia for fucking 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Which I think
that
is
is
like.
My brother had gone to Texas and he told me the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as you leave Austin and the surrounding suburbs, it's just
Wheat.
open. There's
Wheat,
nothing in between.
corn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like here, you can't go anywhere where it's open until you get to like NorCal.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Central California,
Literally.
which is big valleys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like in places in the Midwest, there's space
Yeah.
between.
It's like no wonder there's so
The
much more chill
cities
than
and
we
towns.
are. We're always freaking out about something.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
that's why I'd want to move to Oregon if I was to move or to NorCal. just so there's like space in between where I could just soak in the surroundings.
I get that.
I'm moving to Germany.
Is that a joke? Are you joking, or is that like a real wish of yours?
No.
That's like an.
That is my goal in life is to live either there or New Zealand. You know what? Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
Garrett gets mad at me about this all the time.
What?
But in some aspects, the Europeans have us beat.
Oh no!
Okay.
I don't get mad at you because of you saying that. It's that you flip flop all the time.
Yeah. One day I'm like
actually
a
super
super
true.
macho American.
Yeah, you're super
and the
macho
next day-
American, and then the next day you're like, man, I'm like European chocolate. Like you're such you're such Euro.
Okay.
Yeah,
trash,
that's
like,
actually
European elitist.
super true.
And then he's like, man, I America, dude. Like, there's nothing better. And then he's like, yeah, but the Europeans just have us beat in cars and chocolate and all this other shit. It's just like
They do.
You're just like an elitist in the weirdest
Okay.
way.
All right. Okay. The other day
You're
I
he's
saw a
gatekeeping
video.
both gates at the
about-
same time.
Wait, what'd you say,
I
Sean?
said you're somehow like double gatekeeping. You know what I mean? Like you're both.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You're gatekeeping two opposing things. Like,
Yeah, of course. There's no good balance.
It's just like
in
school,
my
dude.
head.
It's like that's the same reason everyone thought you were at the same time a communist and both the most American man that anyone has ever met. You know what I meant?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah. the classic American dictator. But yeah, I was watching this YouTube video about a library in like Denmark or something, and because public libraries are still very important things for research or whatever, but everyone thinks librarians just sit around and sort books, but they're actually like you need a degree to be a librarian. Like it's a lot of work to be a librarian. So they just have these robots sorting all the books, and everything's 100% automated, and they just have librarians sitting around to help you research things. Like,
oh my god, that's so
we don't-
hot.
yeah, and it's free, 100%. It's a public library. We don't have stuff like that because
Because we still make.
he's
people
getting
pay
political.
for
He's getting
healthcare.
political. Abort. Abort.
whatever. Yeah, abort. We don't have stuff like that because of whatever reasons. You could look it up, but stuff like that they have us beat on. They have us beat on with carbon taxes and like, education and healthcare and stuff. But in other aspects, we have them beat.
Yeah.
Like
The
our
largest
hamburgers.
military in the world.
Yeah, because that matters. And other things.
Ford trucks. I mean, come on. Freedom.
Yeah, we got freedom. We got tons of that. It's pouring out of us.
Yeah. Oh, America.
Sorry to get political.
You're not
Yeah,
sorry.
I think that's. Yeah. It was about to say you're
I'm
definitely
not
not
sorry.
sorry.
Was that political that they have
It could have gone.
automated
It could have
public
gone.
libraries?
No,
Eamon,
it
the
could've
Capitol
gone, 'cause you
building
could've
was
gotten-
just raided. Everyone,
could've-
yes, of course that was political. We're in a very sensitive climate right now. You know that was political. Don't play with us.
Why would you say that? We have good libraries. Like, okay. Well, actually, yeah. Some libraries here are pretty good.
Plenty of libraries.
Like the big one in New York.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Yeah.
first public library
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, sorry to talk about Europe.
Rip school.
But yeah, and like New Zealand's just a beautiful place. They also have us beat,
Yeah,
but in different
Yeah,
ways.
New Zealand is my dream, not Germany. New Zealand, and in the States it'd be Oregon. So
I think in the States it'd
There you
be
go.
right up the street from where I currently live.
I don't know
so-
where I would want to.
no, I wouldn't want to stay in SoCal, to be honest. I don't want
Too
to stay
expensive?
in SoCal. Well, not only that, but I like the rain, and I like to see things that are green instead of some sort of like drab, like brownish color, because we live in this like weird desert sort of place.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
And like when we went to Arrowhead that one time, and I saw just pine trees, I was like,
it was the first time you saw the color green in nature in your entire life.
that's not true, but like I was just, blowing my load because it looks so fucking pretty.
At some point we're gonna be like the Lorax, where it's all fake plastic trees.
Not in New Zealand and Oregon, man.
Oh yeah, that's true. Only in SoCal.
Only in SoCal. No, it won't be fake because we don't have any of that to begin with.
Yeah.
Not
Not
yet.
really. But like Oregon, like it's like you already know what the Pacific Northwest looks like, so it's beautiful.
That's
Goals.
true. And Sean, do you know where?
What? Do I know
Do you
what?
know where would you want to live in the States or anywhere else?
If I was to move somewhere, I don't. Honestly, I feel like I just kind of do whatever. Like, climate's not really a
Wherever the
problem
wind
for me.
takes you.
I don't like big cities. That would be my one rule. I actually don't really like big cities because I feel like they discourage genuine contact between people. Not saying that you can't have like a genuine relationship, but like everything is just moving so fast that like. Again, I think being goal-oriented is cool, but too many goal-oriented people is what a city is, and what happens then is everyone is trying to get something, and it's hard to just sit next to someone and have a conversation.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
I just want to move somewhere
If you-
with someone I love, and if it's nice, it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because like when you go to New York City, there's constant traffic, horns blaring, people walking up and down in suits, people on and off the train constantly until like 9 at night or whatever. So there's always commotion. But like if you live in a small little town, people at like stores or whatever.
Yeah.
You have like proper.
Well, I don't need to be like
friends
best
or
friends with
whatever.
my neighbor, but like you know what I mean. Like it's the time and the ability to choose to slow things down if I want that I do want.
See, I'm with you on
Right.
the big city thing, like in LA and New York, San Francisco.
Yeah, I'd hate that.
But I could live in a Portland, a smaller big city.
Okay, I can
Oh,
get down.
I see. Yeah.
See, like
Not
this
Portland,
is this
though,
is what
but-
I'm showing images, but this is epic. I mean, come on,
Where is that? Is that Oregon?
that's Oregon, yeah.
I do really love the ocean.
Very nice.
If I'm not incredibly poor because I'm going to music, then yeah, maybe I will.
It's not
move
even the
somewhere
ocean. Just
near
like
water.
in SoCal, you're not at the beach and you can see like that beautiful lush green. Like, look at that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just like
true.
so pretty.
Yeah, you do have to drive pretty far up north to get like a nice like forest and then the ocean.
Yeah,
If you go up the PCH,
yeah, exactly.
I hate the PCH.
I love the PCH. Why do you hate it? I have very fond memories.
It's a very nice freeway, but if you're on it for 10 hours straight, you eventually don't care anymore.
What if I was with you? What
if
if I
you-
was dressed up as a nice lady?
Yeah.
And I flirted with you the whole time. And I
Okay.
said, "Oh, Emma
Anyways.
Kun, I love you." And would you?
Yeah, that would make it better.
Hey,
I think
man.
I'd
Is that
stop
what you
off at
want?
the peak and jump out.
Oh, you know you would
Or
like
drive
it.
my car
don't
off the
play
cliff.
with me.
The only time I went up the PCH for the full 10 hours to San Francisco was in a minivan filled with like 7 other guys because we were going on like a trip to San Francisco.
Okay.
And I think that's why it sucked.
Yeah.
No, probably
Because
smelled.
we were all loud. Yeah, we were all loud and smelly.
So
yeah.
what you're saying is the circumstance that I described earlier is actually the best circumstance you could possibly imagine.
I don't know about the best, but probably slightly less worse. But being trapped in a car with you for 10 hours doesn't sound fun at all.
I enjoyed going up the PCH, but like what we did was we just like went up for like stretches, not the whole ride. to San
Right, yeah, you
Francisco.
go up the 5 for the most part, but then you go to the PCH for like the nice parts.
Yeah.
So for the PCH, we went up to pass San Luis Obispo. And
Oh, slow? Yeah, slow's very nice.
Santa Barbara, but I don't think we passed through Santa Cruz, because then I think we got back on the 5. So yeah, and we stopped by Hearst Castle. I don't know if you've been there, but that place is cool.
No, I have. I've always wanted to.
That place is epic. But yeah, that's the way to do it. Don't do it the whole way.
No, yeah, don't do it the whole way. Waste your time, waste your gas. And it's one lane for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if there's a big, slow car, truck in front of you, you're stuck. Because there's no easy exits either. But yeah, well, what else? What else do we talk about on this podcast? Sean, do you have anything you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? I don't know. I've just been such. I can talk about a lot of things, but I feel like the.
Oh, you know what? Here's a
Oh,
question.
okay. Yeah. Shoot.
So you made the intro music.
Okay.
Everyone's heard it. I'll play it again here. No, I won't. But what I guess how do you like sit down and come up with like a piece of music, especially something short like that?
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah. Okay. Well, to preface, let me clear up the misconception that Sean is good at music. It's like I obviously like understand music enough to compose because I compose and it's like what I do and it's fun and I love music. But I'm not like I'm nothing like insane. But the composition process is actually it's usually different for me piece by piece. Because I'm not doing it usually for like a prescribed thing. Like no one pays me. And I've done things like what like you asked me to make the intro music in the same way that like some people at my college were like, "Hey, I've heard like when you showed me your stuff, I liked it. Could you write something for me?" And that's usually a little different than when I'm just creating for myself.
Right.
But if I don't have an idea, like if something doesn't immediately strike me, I'll usually go to the piano and I'll think about a notion or something physical and whatever. And then if I can either come up with like rhythms to lead me to that. There's three basic components, right? It's either rhythm, harmony, or melody. And I kind of try to narrow something like that notion to one of the three. Like for example, the most recent thing that I've written is for it's for choir and piano. And it was it's a poem about how much oh, bye mom. My mom is going to bed. Bye mom.
Oh, good night, Sean's mom.
But it's a poem about this guy and he's talking about how beautiful this girl is. And then the second half of the poem is him going, however, look at me, I'm like so terrible, blah blah blah, like how could I deserve someone like you? It's like it's pretty cheesy, but it's like it's nice.
Oh, what the hell?
Did you just drop something?
That's my phone. But I tried to think of there was a couple harmonies for that I was trying to come up with, and then I just messed around for like an hour until I found something I really liked, and then I wrote that down, and then I listened to that, and then I said, what should I do next? And then I kind of let the text
you just tweak it from
the
there.
text do the rest, right? Because once I found a basic thing that matched the notion, I just was like, all right, what is the next part of the text that I have to set in this, because it's for choir, and then I would say it, and then I would sing it, and I would sing it, and I would sing it multiple times in different rhythms, see what's natural, because you don't want to write like I think there was one part that was like, and so I sat there supposing, like you don't want to make the rhythm weird, like like if you're like once if it's like 1 2 3 4, you don't want to be like I sat there composing, like that's like weird, right? Whereas if you're
right.
But I think what the rhythm I wrote there was like, and I sat there composing, like something like that.
So with each piece, it depends.
Yeah, and then sometimes I'll sit down and I'll be like, oh, this sounds cool. And then I'll just write like the rest.
And then you just go
based off like
right,
a single
okay.
motif. For your thing, I think I just was like, what does Eamon like? Eamon likes jazz. I'm bad at writing jazz. How do I make myself sound like I'm not bad at writing jazz? And then that is how I wrote that.
Well, that's good.
I feel like to what you said like earlier, when it comes to things like rock and jazz, it seems like the majority of like the super famous musicians, like thinking of like Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters, I don't think he can write or read like music. He might be able to now, but like I'm pretty sure early on he just played and if it sounded cool, that's what you did. That like I think that's a really cool aspect of music, where it's especially with things like jazz, where it's like you're riffing. Things like jazz and rock, it's like whatever sounds cool, whatever I'm doing, because a lot of these guys are like self-taught and they never really learned how to read music. They just did it.
Yeah.
I always found that super interesting.
Yeah, it's just like for me, it's like it's interesting because I don't think I'm nearly as talented as a lot of musicians. My ear is, I don't think, nearly as well developed, and I think a lot of that is because I didn't do music growing up at all. I literally.
You're also doing a different type of music too.
I'm
like
also
classical music.
being classical trained, right? It's like a lot of my brain is like, there is a lot of theory, and then I sit there and I'm like, and sometimes literally like for the last thing I did, I was like, I like did something based on theory, and then I was like, I don't like this, and so then I just like sat there and like editing the harmony, like, and I was like, what if I replace this tone with this? And I don't know if there's like a theory thing that like explained what I did, but that I was like, yeah, I like this. So I just did that.
Right. It doesn't always have to be by the book. I mean, like any art.
No, yeah, you just kind of like there are parts where like you use theory to help you, and then you edit. You just listen, and you listen if it's what you wanted.
How often do your teachers like encourage like improvising and stuff like that? Do they do it like pretty heavy-handedly, or do they encourage?
It depends. It depends on the class. Like in theory, like I hope none of I don't want to make out any of the other people at Lawrence, especially not the ones in my theory class, because I'm about to say some shit. But like.
You're gonna talk smack?
Bad at theory. There's like 3 people in my theory class that I would say are actually pretty good at it, and I'm not saying I'm like a theory god. I'm not. I'm in like a lower theory class, which is why I think it's easy. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think the bar is that high, and so I think if I can compose, you can compose too. I just think that improvisation is, in general, especially in a musical education, but in education in general, is super underdeveloped as a tool. Because I think what I'm learning a lot in my music ed class is like the idea of like working composition into a musical education. It's super important, right? Because it's like if you think about it like this, if you're teaching English, you teach your students to read, you teach your students to speak, you teach your students to write, you teach your students how to comprehend creations, and in turn how to comprehend themselves and make something out of that comprehension, right? Whereas in music, it's just so performance-based sometimes that I think it's almost flawed, right? And I think that's why people get tired of music. Like, do you know how many people do you know that were like, oh, I took piano as a kid, or I did this instrument as a kid, and I got jaded, and I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's because the music that was inside of them, their music, whatever that music is, never got to be heard, not by themselves, not by anyone. And like giving a child a voice, as a future educator is my goal. I really want to like get kids to be able to. I want improv to be part of the curriculum. I want to be doing that shit every day. I want composition to be part of the curriculum. Like it has to be encouraged from an early level, and it's not right now. You know.
Are you gonna be throwing chairs at kids like?
Like Whiplash? Name it!
Yeah, like Whiplash. Yeah.
No.
That's awesome though.
I hope
That's
so.
awesome to hear.
Well,
it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's been a fun one.
Yeah, it's been. We're at like almost the hour mark. So.
Are we chilling?
Yeah.
Is that good?
What?
Yeah. You cut out. What'd you say?
Oh, I was just saying thank you. Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll have you back gladly. I mean, anytime, man.
Anytime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could contact us through the waves, through the snow in Wisconsin.
How do we even do that though? I don't have like I don't really have a good mic.
If you get a microphone, currently Sean's using Simon's microphone.
Yeah.
But if you get one, then we'll have you on. Until then, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Have a happy New Year.
I don't know who watches this, but I hope you hate me less.
I can tell you that they don't watch it; they listen to it.
You're right.